why your specific person hasn't budged, or in other words, why you just haven't had movement, period. And this video is going to give you info that applies to not just specific person manifestations, but it can be applied to health, it can be applied to wealth, you name it. Okay, guys? So just remember, even though this stuff is based around SP, just because 95% of my clients are dealing with that stuff, that's why I talk about it. It doesn't mean that you can't apply the concepts that I'm teaching and sharing with you to your goals. Just remember that. So take notes, guys, and get your notebooks out. So, and just by the way, before I get to the outline and everything else, I just want to announce I did get a new microphone that you might already notice. And look how cool this is. Look, I tap this once and it mutes. And now it's back to normal. Like that's so cool to me. I love that. But anyways, the reason I tell you this is not to show it off. It's just because even though it's a very nice microphone, I did come across some reports that when I move it, if you were to move this, you might hear some thudding sounds of like my fingers grabbing the part that's holding it and stuff like that. So just a heads up, if you hear the thudding noises, I'll do my best to not move around so much with it. And I did order a boom arm that's going to hold the microphone for me, and that's coming in a few days. So just bear with me for this video, and you're going to notice that the sound's going to get better and better over time. So, if those of you that are wondering, by the way, it's a Shure brand mic. If anyone knows anything about microphones, you know that's one of the top ones that you could get. It's one of the best brands. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it serves the channel well. And I got it because I figured, hey, you know what? Let's upgrade. Let's give the members and even the public channel some even better sound. So let's test this out and fine tune it. And before we jump into it, I also want to announce tomorrow we have our first ever live stream for, or sorry, not first ever, our third ever weekly Q&A live stream for the members only. It's for tier two, specifically tier two. It's going to be at 12 p.m. this time, a little bit earlier, a lot earlier than normal. That way, other regions have time to come in and it's not going to be like midnight or 1 a.m. for them. So that way, it's fair for everybody. As you know, I swap around times. So that way, everybody can make it at least within a month. You can make it once or twice minimum. So I'll see you guys there. I'm pretty sure all of you guys will be there, if not most of you, since it's still fairly reasonable. And remember, bring your questions. As you guys already know, it's like pretty much coaching without having to pay the full coaching price. So bring all your questions. I can't wait to see you guys there. And let's get to today's outline. And before we do that, as you know, I'm Michael from embodystate.com. You already know where to go if you need me for private help. Other than that, I'll see you all in the membership. So today's outline, I'm going to be showing you how we are delaying our results and understanding reality and how to view it while manifesting. And we're also going to give you some daily application stuff. In other words, what you should be doing, what that looks like, what your mental diet, like what your perspective should be like. So before we dive into these concepts that I'm going to share with you, just remember, if you haven't had results and you've been manifesting for, you've at least been doing the techniques and making a better effort, at least for a week, 2 weeks, things like this, even if it's been a month or longer, just remember this video is going to help you. It's going to show you some things where you can look back and analyze and see, okay, where could I tighten things up and where are things too loose already, that I've been lazy on. So let's dive right into it. Okay, stop delaying your results. So this page, we're going to talk about the delaying and we're going to share some quotes. So let's dive right into it. And the first one I wanted to share was all conceptions are limitations of the conceiver. And to me, that's freaking cool. I love that. And I love that sorry, let me just move this here real quick. Oopsie. Back to the first one. So it's the truth. Think about it. It's the limitation of the conceiver, all conceptions. So conceptions are just what you believe to be true of yourself, right? It's just pretty much what you're aware of, what you're assuming. So if you understand, it's like, wait a minute. What I'm believing is just the limitation that I place on the awareness that I am, like the entity, the soul that I am of God. So that's why I tell people all the time, if you genuinely are sitting there, and recent clients, feel free to chime in and confirm that I've told you this in our calls because I've been doing this a lot, especially recently. But I explain to people, if you understand that everything is a possibility, good or bad, and you understand that what you want is a possible option, but also the things you fear are very valid realities and very possible to experience as well. So if you understand this and you know for a fact that both sides are existing, and like I explained to a good friend of mine, even recently, I explained to her, if all these things are existing and all these the good and the bad are fact, then does it not make sense, or sorry, or does it make sense, I should ask, like I told her, to then put your thumb on the scale that's for the bad stuff? Because think about it, if it's 50-50, So you know the scales of liberty, how it's like they're equal, they're just there, like assuming that the scale's there, right? And let's say it's equal. If you put, let's say, 1 pound heavier on one side, then that side's going to start, dragging down, and that's going to be what gets reflected. So looking at it like that, understanding that whatever you choose to consent to is you putting a limitation on God, whether it's a positive limitation or a negative limitation, it's still a limitation. So if I say that, oh, I'm Michael and I'm married now and I have $100 billion and everyone in that I love is healthy and doing great. It's like, okay, even though all that stuff is good stuff, it's still a limitation because the thing that I am is unlimited. It's limitless. There can't be a limit to it. How can I say God is something and say that that's all that God is? But God is everything everywhere all at once, right? That's what I'm trying to get across to you guys with that quote. Do you see how such a simple little sentence can inspire such deep conversations? And that's why I love reading. That's why I love the law. Because even let's say a year from now, if I was to reread that quote, I'd have a complete different perspective that I'd be drawing from as well, because I'm not going to be the same person that I was a year ago, right? And it's the same concept. Like the saying goes, the man who steps in the river, the same river twice, is not the same man, right? I'm sure I butchered it, but because the river is not the same river either. That man has changed, so has the river. It's the same concept. That's why I love studying. I study every day. It's not the same book every time because I'm not the same Michael every time. So that's food for thought, okay? But anyways, that's what I want to get across. It's the limitations you're putting. So if you're going to limit yourself, if you're going to limit all that is, might as well put some good limits on it, right? Because remember, the scales, if it's all equal, what's the benefit logically? Are you going to sit here and be like, "Yep, you know what? If all realities are equal and I can have any reality I prefer, and it's no harder to get the good one than the scary one, then logically, I'm gonna put my faith in the scary one. Let's put our thumb on that scale and let's guarantee that we get the result." No, it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing. Like you guys are not gonna want to do that. And when you see the silliness of it all or stupidity of it all, for lack of a better word, you're gonna be like, okay, I naturally don't even want to believe in that anymore. So that's the beautiful part. Sorry if you guys heard that message. Let me turn it on. Okay, sorry, I had to put on vibrate for you guys. I don't know if you heard that. If not, I'll try to edit it in the post editing. Um, but that's how it is. It's just simple. I want you guys to really remember, like, put the good limits on yourself, right? Because remember, God is all that is, and everything is already created. So why not identify with the part that's already created? Just remember that. So now we're going to move on to the second quote, right? And this one is from Seth and Jane Roberts, or Seth through Jane Roberts. It says, "The message is plain. We are not at the mercy of the subconscious or helpless before forces that we cannot understand. The conscious mind directs unconscious activity and has at its command all of, sorry, I'm trying to like read around the camera, command all of the powers of the inner self. These are acts activated according to our ideas about reality. We are gods couched in creaturehood." Seth says, given the ability to form our experiences as our thoughts and feelings become actualized. So that's the beautiful part, right? It's like that whole message is so true. And we're not at the mercy of any subconscious drives, or as Seth says in other parts of certain books, of unconscious drive. And we're not limited by them, how everything has to be, in his own words, acquiesced to. In other words, you have to consent and agree to it. So if you understand that everything that you are doing is a choice, and that choice then installs those beliefs, and those beliefs then cause you to act out, then logically it's not a subconscious thing that you're at the mercy of. You're not at the mercy of anything. You are so blessed and powerful that you get to literally screw your life up. If you genuinely sit there and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to assume that things are the worst." And guess what? You are so worthy and so powerful that you're literally allowed to manifest that. You have the power to. So that's why I tell people all the time. It's like you don't have to look at your 3D reality like it's permanent. So many of you guys are looking at it like this is your new norm. And that's the mistake that so many people make. And that's part of the reason that so many people are delaying their results, right? And when you realize that your conscious mind is the thing that directs everything, then does it make sense to sit there and to put weight on that scale that doesn't serve you, right? And the answer is no, it doesn't make sense. So why would you do this to yourself? And the answer is because you forgot who you are. And that's why it's so vital to remember who we are, and when we're walking through our 3D, when we're walking through the fire, especially internally, right? So when you realize that everything has to be agreed to and everything has to be consented, in other words, then you realize who's the one consenting. Who's the one making the choice to look at the lack of messages from the SP and to say, oh, that means that what I'm doing isn't working, or they don't love me, or that I'm not good enough? Who's making that decision? Because I'm telling you, it's not me. And I'm telling you, it's not someone else. And it's not your SP that's making you feel that way. You're observing the 3D reality, which is the past. It's the reflection of your past emotional reactions, if it helps you look at it that way. Because remember, emotional reactions, where do emotions come from? What do I teach you guys for years? Emotions come from beliefs, right? A belief is comes first and the emotion follows it. It's not the other way around. So if you're feeling a negative emotion, that means you believe in something first. But what happened before you believed? You saw. So you observed, you then believed, then the emotion followed. You guys with me? So when you see it this way and you recognize the silliness of it all and you reverse engineer it, you realize, wait, I'm feeling this emotion, which means I believed. And let's go back to the moment that I observed and let's do some mid-air revision. And that's a good time where you can then start changing the way you see things and how you would have wanted things to go. And that's how you turn a bad situation to something good, right? That's why I don't teach revision really because I don't use revision that much, but stuff that I just explained, like the mid-air revision, I do enjoy. Like if I am thinking of a memory that just doesn't serve me and I catch myself, I'll do mid-air revision in that moment. But I don't really do it for the past. I more so do it for like something that day. Like let's say, you know, let's say I didn't get a message from someone that I love. Okay, as soon as I'm aware that I didn't get a message from someone I love, I instantly give it to myself. It's like I react as if I got it in that moment, and I put myself in that awareness, in that reality, and that's all a choice. It's not me being at the mercy of any subconscious drive, like Seth teaches, right? It's my choice. I understood. I saw something I didn't like. I understood. I can observe it, and I understood. I could then put my awareness and tweak certain parts of that timeline because all creation is finished. So it's not me gaslighting myself and being like, "Oh, they texted me. They said I love me." And blah blah blah. It's not that, but it truthfully, like, there are realities where they did do that. So if I do believe that, it's not me lying to myself. It's me identifying with that portion of creation is finished where that's true. So that's why I want you guys to kind of realize, like, you guys all have patterns that you keep doing that are stopping you from getting results, and you don't have to live like that. You don't really have to be afraid of your thoughts and your physical reality. I want you guys to really understand that what you're doing internally is the real present moment. And whatever you do presently, time and time again, is the thing that's going to be reflected as an experience. So really live by that, guys, okay? Let's go down to the next part. Understanding reality. And we're going to dive right into the quote from Neville. And the quote goes, consciousness precedes all manifestations and is the prop upon which all manifestation rests. To remove the manifestations, all that is required of you, the conceiver, is to take your attention away from the conception. Instead of out of sight, out of mind, it really is out of mind, out of sight. The manifestation will remain in sight only as long as it takes the force with which the conceiver, I am, originally endowed it to spend itself. This applies to all creation from the infinitesimally small, that's such a weird word, electron to the infinitely great universe. Sorry, that threw me off. I don't recall seeing that word. And but anyways, that, like, think about that. And I can't remember what video it was. I wish I remember off the top of my head, but I did a video somewhere recently and I gave a quote about how your awareness is like the sap of life, right? And your thoughts and stuff that you keep alive are like the branches, the vines, right? And those branches can only stay alive because they're attached to the plant, to the tree. And when you keep it attached, in other words, I keep awareness on it, I'm keeping it attached to the sap of life. Me, I'm the cause. So, and he explains in that quote to take solve yourself of the issue is you take your awareness off the issue and place it upon the solution. And that's what this is talking about as well, right? This is something about reality that so many people need to understand. So many of you here are hurting, whether it's for love, wealth, or health, it doesn't matter. But so many of you go back to the habit of being aware of the problems more than you're aware of the solutions. And if that sounds like what you're doing, and you can say, yes, you know what, I've done that. I can clearly say I spend more time in the awareness that I am having an issue or I don't have something as opposed to that it's mine. And if that's the case, now you can reassure yourself, oh, that's why things haven't been moving. That's why things aren't budging with my desire because you're going 50-50, or you're spending more time the other direction, right? You haven't burned your ships yet. You have not become the moth to the flame. Trust me. And I'm even challenging myself. For those of you that are members, I released a video yesterday, and it's a kind of a challenge to do this whole week. And I'm going to take part of it too. And I'm even going to cut out certain habits that I was reflecting on, because when I made the video, I didn't really have a habit that I was like, "Oh, I need to change this." But upon reflection, I was like, "Okay, I found something that I definitely know I shouldn't be doing, but I still do it." So even I'm gonna challenge myself, and I'm gonna live by this quote too. And all I'm asking you guys to do is to just take your awareness of this problem, live by this quote. I want you to really understand, like, your reality, everything that's bothering you today, that's a problem, is temporary if you're willing to take your awareness off it. It's okay to know that, yes, that's a problem. But once you recognize that that's a problem, who's forcing you to stay focused on it and to stay dwelling on it, which is giving life to it and keeping it in your reality tomorrow and the day after and the day after? It's not me. I can tell you that. It's for sure not me. And who's telling you to then spend equal or less time returning to the wish fulfilled? It's not me, right? So that's what I want from you guys. I want you guys to really understand this journey, this game of life that we're playing. It's a serious one, it's a fun one, but the results aren't permanent. Nothing is solidified until you solidify it. So, as Neville says to his students when they come with problems, he told one of them, simply don't accept it. So, whatever happens today and whatever happens this week, if it doesn't align with what I want, I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to take my awareness, just like this quote says, off the issue. I'm going to recognize, okay, I see something I don't like. Let's change it. Let's focus on what I do prefer. And I would prefer this solution to be here. And how would that feel if that was true? How would it feel if I was the person that had the solution as of today, as of yesterday, as of a week ago, as of a month ago? Either scenario is planting a seed that involves having. So it doesn't matter which way you go. Just have fun with it. It's that simple, guys. And that's why. And trust me, I'm actually going to show you. Actually, I might as well do it here. I have my phone. Let me see if I can show you guys on the camera. So I have a success story, and it's something for one of my businesses. And I did not register. I think I talked about this actually in the membership video I dropped recently, but I didn't actually show it because I didn't have it on me. I know where it is now. It's on March 20th. That's when it happened. And oh, here we go. So you're gonna see it here. So I haven't registered my company for a very, like, by law, you have to have this insurance. And although I was registered, I put my name in that I was gonna fill in the certain parts and everything, which allows me to get work done and everything and work operate legally. I still didn't do the part that I should have done a while ago, because the way my brain works is just like, oh, when I get around to tax season for the corporation, I'm gonna then just handle it then and there. And if there's any fines to pay, I'll just pay it because I don't care. I don't really care about the money. So I just was too lazy, in other words, because my accountant couldn't do this for me. I had to do it. And I didn't want to do it because I knew it didn't need to be done right away. So instead of being in fear that, hey, I'm gonna show you how I applied this quote. Instead of being in fear of like, oh no, if I don't do this, I'm gonna get hit with massive fines, $100,000 fines, and this and that, and blah blah blah, and the government's gonna come after me, and this and that. Yeah, that would happen to a regular person, but I'm not regular. I know better, and I didn't even care because I knew whatever they're gonna charge me, I have the money to cover it. And I didn't break any laws. I just didn't do it their way because I was busy with other things in business, and that was making me more money, and that appealed to me more than just focusing on this because I was gonna do this on the last day. And lo and behold, I was like, wait a minute. Why am I solidifying this? Why am I cementing this as a problem? It's not. And I didn't accept it like Nemo says. I said, you know what? Screw it. If creation is finished and all realities exist, as stupid and as crazy as it sounds, there's realities where this issue is solved. And I felt the relief of that for just a moment. And maybe two more times after that, in the coming days or something like that. And I completely forgot about it for weeks. And then I get this email, and look what it says right there. Let me see. Congratulations on securing your business with the Workplace and Safety Board, WSIB. That's literally what it says right there. and I did not register my business. I'm telling you, anyone that knows me in real life knows I didn't do it. And they're all baffled. They're looking at me like scratching their head. They're like, "I have a company. I couldn't get away with that. I had to do it." Like, everyone's like they're shocked. They're like, "That makes no sense." And now they're like, "Okay, maybe there's something to what you do," because they know I talk about manifestation and stuff, and they just don't believe it fully, right? Some people, that I'm friends with that are business owners, much older than me and stuff like that. So, think about it. I didn't even do anything. And yeah, the deadline didn't pass, but I just didn't care. I knew creation was finished. And how did I get that result? I understood. Number 1, I recognized the problem. The problem was they're saying I have to register and I have until I think it was May 15, I think. And yeah, May 15. And I was like, "Okay, I have time, so it's not an issue." But I don't wanna do it, but I want it to be done, if that makes sense. And I understood, okay, so I recognize the problem, I recognize what I want. So from that point forward, I knew it was stupid to keep being aware of the problem. So I stopped being aware of the problem. I started being more aware of the solution. So when I thought about the registration, I just felt the relief of what if it was finally registered and I just got past it. I don't know how I got there, but it just registered and I don't have to worry about it and I could just relax even in May. And then it's like I think about it and I hit that relief, right? That's when I know I embody the state. So good enough, seed planted, and I just leave it. And I don't go back to thinking, oh, but what if I get in trouble with the government? Oh, what if they come after me? Even if they do, good luck to them, right? I'm not even worried. So with that being said, it's like I know the law. I don't have to worry about anything. God is more powerful than these laws and these militaries and these governments. I have nothing to worry about. So let me tell you, there's so many stories like that in my life, especially recently, where things just happen. And you might have just heard my dog bark. Sorry about that. And that's the beautiful part. You just have to relax and understand you're in full control of this. You're in full control of everything that you want in your life, even if it makes no sense. So just understand that and just realize that nothing has to stop you. It's all a choice. Okay, guys? So moving forward, I just want you to understand it's all about what you do with your awareness, right? Just like me, I didn't focus on the problem, right? Especially with SP people. Your problem is I'm single, I'm lonely, I just wish I had them. Why are they not here with me? Blah blah blah. So if you're privileged, guys, trust me, you have the ability to plant seeds. You guys have no excuse. I don't want to hear it from anyone. If you have the ability to plant seeds and nothing is stopping you from manifesting your person, I don't want to hear any complaints. Because the only complaint you should be hearing is I wish that from yourself is, I wish I was hungrier so I could actually be disciplined enough. That's the only complaint I would be like, okay, I get it. But other than that, it's like, I don't want to hear it. You guys have a privilege. You guys, and it's so, you don't understand. You get to plant seeds. You get to apply this law for that. You get to sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to take it the awareness off the issue. Yeah, they're not messaging me. Yeah, they're not doing whatever. Who cares? I'm feeling loved by them. And because I'm feeling loved by them, they have to come to me. That's how it works. And there's a reality where that's true. So, yes, the realities and the versions of them that don't want to be with you will never be with you because they're not supposed to, because that's that version, right? That's all they're programmed for if it helps you look at it that way. But truthfully, there's realities where they're programmed because they love you. Like that's their program. They want to be with you. They come after you. They text you. They chase you. They pursue you. I'm someone personally. I hate chasing, even though I'm a man. And yeah, I do like the hunt here and there. It's rewarding. But if I had the choice when I'm really in love with someone, I would just love if they just made a move, right? If they're just like, look, I think you're cute. I love you. And I'll be like, "Oh, I love you too. Let's get married." You know? And like that, I prefer that as opposed to like me having to like fake and be like nice and go on dates and be like, "So, are we gonna go out next weekend?" And that game, I'm sitting there and being like, "So what do you like doing?" I hate all that stuff. It's so fake to me, right? But if it up to me, I would rather the girl just be like, "Hey, I like you. You're cute." And let's go on a date or something. I'm not saying that that's like how I wish every woman was, but I'm saying there's some times where it's like, yeah, it would make life easier. Like if I knew someone was interested in me, it would make going after that person 1,000 times less scarier, right? As a human, right? So don't be afraid to just be yourself, guys. Anyways, I'm getting off topic, but like it's just like we all have preferences, and I know that like things don't have to make sense. So don't be afraid. of like how it's going to come to fruition, right? I've had people in my life where they've made a move on me, and those were super fun and easy because it was like I don't have to put my neck out there and risk rejection. And even if there is rejection, who gives a crap? You know the law. You can change that rejection to them changing their mind and be like, you know what? I can't get you off my head. We have to go out. And just like that. How do you do that? You apply the same way I applied what I did for my business, what I do in this quote, right? So just remember, guys, have fun with yourself. Don't be afraid of how it's going to happen. Just understand it already happened. It happened in many realities. So you might as well start celebrating and enjoying that. Okay, guys? So with that being said, don't forget to give this a like so it helps reach other people. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, 12 o'clock Eastern for the live stream for the members. And yeah, expect the video in a little bit. So take care, guys. I love you all.